Okay guys, it's a rainy day, not much doing. So what I think I might do is put the high flow turbo on the Stag. Obviously when the engine's out of a car, that takes no time at all. But if you don't if you don't want to break anything, it takes a little bit longer. So what I'll do is I'll just show first of all, I'm going to replace the dump pipe front pipe as well, because I'm not a huge fan of these split dump wastegate, separate wastegate kind of ones. Even the external ones, I believe, kind of chatter inside or kind of have that exhaust kind of leak. I can see bolt is already about 10 mil out. So I'm going to take the front pipe off, change it over completely. May mean I've got to hobble this thing to an exhaust shop tomorrow to get the rest of the exhaust hooked up, but these are pretty generic front pipes, so potentially it could just bolt straight up. This is the stock OP6 turbo. Probably good for around 200 horsepower, maybe more. I think these things make a bit more. Maybe 170 kilowatts or something at the engine, 170, no, I don't know what they are. But obviously you're limited by the ceramic turbine wheel that are on these. When you get them high flowed, obviously they come with a steel wheel then. So I've already got a hard pipe going to the intake of this one, but we'll probably have to change all that as well. Basically because this is the high flow turbo that's going on, and if you look at how much meat is taken out of the actual impeller side, it's actually a lot. So may have to change that. Not sure what wastegate it comes with. Probably a 14 pound, wouldn't know. I'm not going to do braided lines or anything, so you've got to really be careful, because on the OP6s they run these big water lines. They're really big waterline bolts. Looks pretty good. I wanted it to all be in the OP6 housing, so I sent one up to Teo at Hypergear. He's got a really, really good turnaround, and I kind of always just wanted to try one of his turbos. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're trying one of them out. So this is her. Oh, hang on, he's written on it 16 psi. So I might have to swap that over with the stock one. Pretty sure it's 16 psi. This could hit some kind of boost cut. Don't know, but it is kind of technically doubling the factory boost. 16, what's that? 1.1 bar, 16 psi. These things run about 7 or 8 pounds stock. So I'm pretty sure it'll probably hit some kind of boost cut, to tell you the truth. I don't know if everybody else takes the battery off before they start. I think if you're doing something like a high flow turbo, you kind of want Nissan to map out and find its feet when you start the car back up. She's going to give it a shot at maybe editing up some videos. But I feel like a high flow turbo is kind of, something you should be able to knock out in your own garage. Oh my goodness, how long's the bolt? That's obviously not the right bolt for there. Okay. Beginning of the end. 8 mil. Power steering reservoir, I'm not really going to take it off. I might just leave that on. I'll undo this strut brace. Don't know if you can see that. Go back up to touch. Undo the strut brace. Just to give a little bit more access, I'll just lift it up. I don't like to go crazy and just take things completely off and away. It is only a simple job. And we'll see how much room we've got. Got to take the intake pipe off this alloy thing here. Probably not going to go back on, to tell you the truth. But yeah, let's see how we go. We may need to get this thing just out of the way. Yep, that's not being used anymore. That's blocked off, obviously. So, time to kind of discard that. Yep, that's gone. Got a nice catch can to go on here, but got to relocate the battery to put it in. Just, I don't know. Once again, it's the daily, like where do you stop? I feel like high flow turbo front mount exhaust, it's kind of where you stop on a daily, maybe. Not ready yet. Not ready yet. Okay. These are the factory intercooler pipes. It runs down to a return flow blitz intercooler. Once again, not a powerhouse, just more of a neat daily. Yeah, I've got a built motor sitting there for this. CP pistons, sport rods. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Mainly because I kind of like it being stock. I've had this turbo fluttering away for a little while now. This can be yoinked off now. Okay, so we've got a intake pipe down here. Let's get rid of that. I don't remember whether these ones are 10s or whether they're 11s. I feel like they're 11s. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Right, so now you can obviously see the turbo. It's becoming a little bit more clearer. That earth strap is off that there, and I don't know, I've never seen one disintegrate in a hand before. Crikey. Okay, anyway, that's gone. I'll take the heat shield off as well. Then I think we've got some 19s here. These are always pretty loose anyway. Let me get this out of the way though so we can see a little bit more. This one doesn't really, this doesn't really need to come off, but for the sake of being able to see what we're going to do, let's do it. plus I'll put the original one. We actually sell a lot of these little intake pipes and elbows and things. I don't know, it's whether people just lose them or throw them away or what they do, but surprisingly, we sell a fair few of them. Oh my goodness, I am making an absolute job out of this. It's because it's sticking, it's catching. Okay, got to be careful here. They've got a little gasket in between, little triangle one. It's actually metal, reusable. Pretty good little gasket actually. As far as Nissan goes, let's crack the rubber down here on the wastegate. Okay. And if we have a little better look here, you can see, guys, that everything's starting to free up a little bit more. It's actually easier to undo the two 14s or 15s under on the front pipe and try and wangle and drag it all out in one hit, rather than try and get these bottom, oh my god, they're actually in tight. What the? Look at that. These are actually all hand tight and loose. That is crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, anyway. Let's keep going. Okay, so you need a flathead to bend back these tabs here, flathead screwdriver. Then we're going to undo the top oil line, and then, like I said, we're going to have a look at the actual bolts going into the Neo Turbo. They are actually a lot bigger. Let me just get rid of this earth strap because that is annoying, and I can't. Yeah, that's completely disintegrated. Okay. Yeah. Let's keep going. So we need a 19 and a flathead to crack all them off. I find once you crack that off, you can move it around a little bit. Tabs back, like so. Another, not a bad, I guess, invention by Nissan. Oh, this flathead's useless. Dulled it. Okay. And then the bottom one down there. Okay, so all the tabs are back. It's either 18 or it's a 19. 18. Okay, these are. I don't think I've ever come across any that a box and grab a 7A. Oh no, this will be in provision. They're always loose. Okay, show you one of these tabs. There's the tabs, the tab that obviously you bolt down, and then you bend the tab around so that the nut can't come loose. Yet they're all kind of loose always. Must be just the heat cycle. Hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. That makes them loose. Pretty sure the top turbo one might be a 17 as well. And then what I'll do is I'll stop the vid and I will go under the car and undo the front pipe and then start it again. So we'll keep going. I'll just crack off that top oil line to lose the actual couple washers. Although I think we'll be replacing them. Like I said before, the oil line is the same on all of the turbos, but the Neo runs the big water lines. Beats me why. Beats me why. Okay, now we can undo that last nut here from the actual exhaust manifold. Oh, this gasket looks knackered as well. So I think all this is definitely stopped, right? So what I like to do is, just bear in mind you've got your aircon lines there. Separate it. Separate. Oh, this is just, I'll be honest, I've never seen a gasket like this bad. Look at this. This is literally just stuffed. All right, so a little bit more. Okay, look at the size of these water lines. I mean, they're monsters. I don't know why Nissan needed to do that. Look at this. This is knackered. And I'm just actually hoping now that I have a T3 gasket here. If not, I'll put the word out. We'll grab one by tonight. Okay, so unplug the oxygen sensor at the back there. Okay, these run different ones. The Neo motor runs different ones to the R33, R32, 180SX, S13. It's kind of, I mean, they use the same diff and cradle. I don't know why they would change a plug. But anyway, okay, so that one's undone. That back one there just needs to be tweaked. There we go. Now, with some wangling, should be able to get this out. I know it can on all the 33s. I've also been under there and I've undone the two 14s that were on the dump, the front of the cats. But we've also got the sump one on, which is wrapped around the wrong way, so I can't access that. Yay. So what I'll have to do is, oh my goodness, it's got this little heat, still got this little heat shield on from factory. What? I think some HKS kits came out with these too. See those little clips? That's cool. Alright, so that's gonna be a bugger to get off because I can't access the Phillips head from this side because it's underneath. So what I might do is get under there and see if I can just crack that 8mm off, maybe. There's not a lot of room because you've got to. So I've given a couple of turns on the 8mm underneath down on the sump return from the bottom of the turbo. Can't get it all the way undone, but sometimes you get lucky, and if you give it like a little tug on the turbo, it comes out. Yep, so I can't get caught on that. So we want to come past this sucker, because if we can't, then I've literally got to take off which I don't want to. Oh, it's so close. The 33s are a little bit easier to do this. Well, that's good to see. It's only the dump pipe that's running that wastegate setup. It's actually got a really nice front pipe on it. But am I going to be able to get this through? Maybe on more of an angle. Come on. Ah, it's getting caught on the tower here. God, not by much though. Show you a trick. Show you a trick. So you don't have to drop the stud down, drop the strut down because we're actually on the jack. There we go. Okay, that's out of the way. Okay, so now that should have given us a little bit more clearance to take this big heap of junk out in one hit. Yeah, boy. Nice, actually not a bad front pipe, though. Not a bad front pipe. Okay, let's put this down. Okay, not gonna lie, this dump pipe and front pipe actually looks like some pretty good quality. Not gonna run it though. I'd rather run the full 3-inch plus. I mean, this is crazy. These were all just loose. That one's really missing the nut, and this one, oh, every single one of these, no way. No way. So, I've got to admit, I've never seen this before. It's like someone tried to steal. OP6. Running nice and lean. No, it's a beautiful turbo. So OP6 are different to the 21U that are mostly found on the Series 1 and Series 2 R33s. It's a bigger housing. So I guess it just allows for a little bit more up top in the rev range. Pretty good turbos, apart from, you know, that being ceramic. Yeah, it's a good turbo. It's just not what we're going to be using. What, these gaskets are just falling apart on me. So I better have a look through the drawer and see if I can find some gaskets. I'm just going to stop this for now while I gather all the stuff up. Guys, I just wanted to do a quick video on the difference between the OP6 turbo that you can find in the R34s, Neo motors. What else did they come on? No, Tommy Kira R34 ran the bigger NM35 turbo. So yeah, OP6 versus the 21U. 21U? Yeah, 21U. You find in your Series 1, Series 2 R33 Skylines. Probably came out in Cephei, anything with the RB25 really. To look at, they probably look exactly the same, but when you line them up, you can clearly see the exhaust housing on the OP6 has a much larger width to it. Obviously allows for a bit more power up top of the on the R34s. I don't think the intake into the exhaust side is too different. That looks around about the same. I'll just check. Versus 64 versus 60, 65. They're exactly the same. Differences on the impeller. Exactly the same on the intake side. Okay, so pretty much the OP6 has a bigger exhaust housing, which helps it breathe a little bit better up top. I don't think the Neo is more of a free revving engine than the Series 2 or Series 1 RB25 det, but who knows? Who knows why they did the bigger exhaust housing on the OP6. Yeah, so I mean, if you're questioning whether or not you've got an OP6 on your car, just put your hand down there, because you can't read it while everything's still on your car. I find if you push while the car's cold, put your finger down there, press on the digits, and then bring them out. You'll see the imprint on your hands. It's a quick way of kind of telling whether you've got an OP6 or not. These ones here are probably the best ones to high flow. Maybe they have a bit more meat inside where the extruder is. I don't know. Yeah, but they're the differences really between the OP6 and the 21U. Bigger exhaust housing, maybe a little bit more meat on it, better to high flow, breathes a little bit better. Okay, we're back. So, I'm about to bolt on this high flow turbo. Mentioned where it's from a few times, but it's from Teo from Hypergear up in Melbourne, who rebuilds turbos and makes high flow turbos. Cleared all the way, kind of ready to start bolting it on. Left the exhaust shroud on there because I guess it's only a stock anyway, so who cares. Just with the heat proof paint. It's high flowed to 3076R specs, which, I mean, it's going to be plenty. I don't think I want to run any more boost than, 12 or 13 pounds. But yeah, tonight's as good a night as any, I suppose, to get started and put it all together. So last couple of days I fitted a stereo to it just to have Apple CarPlay, but apart from that, I'm kind of ready to go. So I'll stop this, I'll set up a stand, and we'll get stuck into it. Alright, it's probably as good a spot as any to get started with it. So I guess first of all you want to make sure that you've put your T3 gasket on here. So that's kind of ready to go. And that it doesn't pinch on there or anything. It's going to be a little bit tricky getting it on with the lines actually already here, but you can be a little bit careful and just bend them out of the way just a tiny little bit. You want to make sure that you've actually got these really squared up to the housing, otherwise you won't get the bolts back in there. It just proves so tricky to do that. But yeah, I guess we're ready to bolt it on and see how we go with it. So I've already put the front pipe and everything on there. I'll put a high flow cat on there. Cat. When I say I've put a high flow cat on there, I'm sure everyone knows kind of what I mean. Yeah, high flow cat, yeah. Okay, so roughly get it in the right spot. We'll make sure that line's out of the way down there, which it is. That one's out of the way there. We're going to have difficulty here with the bottom line going in. Oh, I've actually got to put the bottom oil line on, so return back to the sump. Sometimes I actually like to leave that off to make sure that it's getting oil through the turbo properly, but in this case I already know that it's actually absolutely working perfect. So we'll bring this back out and we'll put the bottom of that on there. I might do it up, I might do it here, just so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Once again, this is only a daily, so I'm not too high strung about it all. Now this part you can get right, so I don't have to actually take it off again. So that's going to go around there, which means I want... need to really set up a bench for this kind of thing. So I want this that way. They look like 13s. Right, so as I put this turbo on, to save myself some time, I actually want to insert it into the actual return on the sump as well down there. So just take your time here. Okay, I can see that it's entering the hose down the bottom. We're in. Okay, I'm going to put the dump pipe on as we're going in as well. Where are you? There we go. Anyone else is a bit dyslexic when it comes to doing jobs like this, but yeah, boy is. All right, let's slide on this gasket. Need to go nice and square. Okay, let's repeat. So we'll do that just to hold that on. And let's have a look at these water bolts. Actually had to take these down a little bit too, the water bolts. They were too long for inside the housing there. It's quite easy to do. You can just slowly hacksaw them down or grind them down. And just make sure that the starter on the thread is nice and clean. Like I said, if these water lines coming to the core and oil lines aren't bang on flush, guys, forget it. So sometimes you can get a screwdriver down there and gently kind of position it into place so that it sits nice and flush, but sometimes you risk damaging the seat of where the brass or the copper washers sit. So I'm sure everyone's got their own kind of way of doing these things, but this is how I do it. Find the core. Be tricky with the dump pipe on, but it's got to be on.
gently try to start the thread. Ideally you want it to be able to go in perfectly with your fingers. You know, without really looking down in there, that you've got it right. Almost two.
Okay guys, I'm back. Sorry, it took freaking 15 minutes to find one of these washers. So let's put the other water line on the front here. This one looks like it almost needs to go back a little bit. Okay, right, it's pretty much on. So there's all new hardware and everything there. Dump post bolters to the rear housing to manifold, top oil lines done, water lines, bottom oil line returning to the sump is all done. So technically we could start it. Oxygen sensors plugged in. We can start it and see what burns off the manifold, and yeah, we'll see how it runs without the airflow meter though, but let's just see how we go, I suppose. Okay guys, that's her. She's all done up. She's all ready to start. She's all tight. Everything's all good. Wastegate's all good. So it's time to fire her up. Bleed some water into it. Yes, that's what I'm using to bleed water into it. Get over it. Done that my whole life. Ew. Wastegate pressure, straight off turbo outlet pressure. Not looking to bleed it off, not looking to boost it up. Just want it to kind of run in first. Not that turbos need to run in, but just want to see what it goes like on 16-pound wastegate. I definitely will be swapping that over to the 7 or 8 OEM one. But yeah, alright, I'll bleed this up now and then I guess we'll take her for a spin. Okay. Alright guys, just down at the car wash. I think anything you do under there that's got, involves oil or anything like that, definitely come and give it a wash after that. Double check that everything's not leaking, that everything's dry. It's all sounding pretty good. But yeah, that's the fitment of a high flow turbo. that's it. So I'll just treat it, I guess, softly for over, you know, the next week. But then I'll change that wastegate over to the 8-pound one or the 7 or 8-pound Nissan one. Yeah, and then that's pretty much it. Kind of did it for longevity. I'll keep the OP6 spare at home, but let me give her a clean, and yeah, that's the daily.